strange synchronicities present themselves, a feeling of déjà vu, or the certainty that something or someone is watching you or is tinkering around with the trajectory of your life.
It's like there's this whole telepathic thing going on that we're all a part of, whether we're conscious of it or not.
The supernatural then becomes a key to unlock the mystery that many sense shimmers behind the scenery of life.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
The Truman Show enthralled millions with its explorations of the limits of human perception and man's struggle for transcendence. Trapped in the lower world, Plato's cave reborn as a literal movie set, the central figure slowly begins to realize that things are not as they seem, that he's being manipulated by forces that for him are literally supernatural, beyond the limits of his temporal experience. As he struggles to break through, and in the process undergoing a symbolic death and rebirth, he is finally introduced to what Plato called the upper world. And so the prison of shadows is swallowed up by the realm of light.
Welcome to the real world.
The Matrix explored the same themes, albeit on a much grander scale. Forget Truman Burbank. All of us, according to the film's logic, are living in a vast simulacrum, that a hood has been pulled over our heads that is keeping us from perceiving reality as it really is.
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
Like Truman, the central figure goes through a born-again experience.
Am I dead? Far from it.
Complete with a water baptism, and is then introduced to the reality beyond the Matrix. No longer a puppet, he embarks on a grand quest to fix what's wrong with the world, to defeat those controlling the Matrix, and to set mankind free.
I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world where anything is possible.
Closely related to this is the belief that man's fascination with the supernatural may come from a correspondence with the way things really are.
I don't know. I'm not sure I believe in that kind of thing.
Oh, that don't matter. It's there if you believe or not believe. It don't care.
In other words, there really is a transcendent, supernatural world, one beyond the Matrix, and man was fashioned in part from it and is meant to have a relationship with it. The opening verses of the Bible describe both a physical and a non-physical or spiritual dimension to our existence.
Then God said, "Let us make people in our image, to be like ourselves." And the Lord God formed a man's body from the dust of the ground and breathed into it the breath of life. And the man became a living person.
In other words, when God fashioned man, he used more than the mere stuff, the atoms that make up our four-dimensional time-space world. Unlike all other living things, man has something of God, the breath of his spirit, in him and animating him as well. Based upon the logic of both the Bible and modern physics, this creator would exist in a reality plane that extends far beyond our own continuum. In fact, some of the implications of string theory, a new branch of quantum physics, have scientists theorizing that God's plane of existence extends at least 7 spatial dimensions beyond our own.
String theory as it had developed was characterized by the fact that there were 5 theories we knew about. And that raised the rather curious question, which was always a little bit embarrassing. If one of those theories describes our universe, then who lives in the other 4 universes? We've come to understand that those 5 theories we've been studying are all limiting cases of one bigger picture.
It turns out that string theory requires our universe to have more than 3 spatial dimensions. Our universe, according to this theory, has at least 6 and probably 7 more space dimensions that as yet no one's directly seen, but the theory says that undeniably the dimensions are there.
But regardless of what it actually turns out to ultimately be, the point is that this breath of God comes to us and ties us to a realm of existence that for us is literally supernatural, something that is not fully comprehensible to our minds or explained by our physical laws.
I think this is a big philosophical problem that we have to deal with in terms of what science can say about our world, because we are always the observer in science. So we are still always constrained by what is ultimately coming into the human brain that allows us to see and perceive the things that we do.
And so our perception that we live in a universe with 3 spatial dimensions may not be correct after all. We really may live in a universe with more dimensions than meet the eye.
So what does this mean as far as our fascination with the supernatural? Well, like a pigeon's homing instinct, or the salmon's impulse to swim upstream and spawn in the waters in which it was born, there's something in us, a spiritual homing device, if you will, that draws us instinctively towards the supernatural.